Hello and welcome back to my channel. You've probably heard of the 1895 Keystone Guide, which advertises the easiest to follow dress cutting method ever devised, and included in it is a 7-cord skirt, which I'll be showing you how to draft today for a skirt such as these young ladies are wearing. The only measurements you need to draft the skirt are your waist measurement, the difference between your hip and your waist measurement, and the desired length of your skirt. I'm using 2 sheets of wrapping paper taped to my floor to create my pattern. Be prepared, you will need a lot of it if you're drafting a full-length skirt. Step 1 is to draft your waist curve. This skirt is drafted as if it were a circle skirt, but using your waist measurement to draft the waist curve instead of the full circumference of your waist. Take that waist measurement and divide it by 2 because it's going to be cut on a fold. And then take that measurement and divide it by 4 because this skirt has 7 panels and 2 of them we don't use our measurement for. The Keystone recommends that darts 2 inches wide will ensure a proper fit on figures with up to a 20-inch difference between hip and waist. For every 5 inches of that, add ½ an inch to the darts, and that they should be 4½ inches deep into the panel. So I marked my fabric according to each of those measurements. From my center front, I measured 1/4 of my halved waist measurement. In my case, I approximated to 3½ inches, then measured 1½ inches for my dart, because I like them a little bit less prominent after my first run with this pattern, which I will link in the description below. Your mileage might vary. Then another 3½ inches, until I had 3 of these sections with darts in between them. Connect your markings in a curved line. Someone whose things weren't all in boxes would have used a tool for this, like a French curve, or whatever happens to work that's in your helm, but I didn't have one because all my stuff was in boxes. And then you're going to extend out your side panels from the center of each dart. Then you're going to extend each panel out exactly how long you're looking to make your skirt. Again, somebody with fewer things in boxes would have used a string or a longer ruler to extend this from the actual center of their circle, but I didn't have that luxury, so I just did my best and measured on my little 24-inch gauge clear ruler. If you can't tell, I just did some addition to calculate exactly where I needed to stop using that ruler. Now it's time to deal with the back panel, and regardless of how long all of your measurements were for the other panels, this one is going to be 9 inches deep on the basic panel for an appropriate amount of volume for everyday use with an everyday bustle pad. The Keystone has instructions for making a more flared or a trained skirt, but we're just going with the basic 9 inches today, and then we're gonna do our bottom hem, which, again, someone with sense would have used a string or something in order to connect it to my center, but I didn't have any sense, and all of my things were in boxes, so I didn't. The curve that I'm drawing right now was often flattened out for evening wear or everyday wear, depending on what part of the era this was, but I decided to just go with the basic curve and did my best for this particular video. And make sure to mark all of your panels and mark which way they need to be facing. I'm taping my wrapping paper together now instead of at the beginning because I would still like to use this wrapping paper for other drafting methods. Cut everything out. When cutting out on your fashion fabric, you will have to add seam allowance, so a ½ an inch on each side so that you have room to actually sew the fabric together. Skirts during this period were not typically mounted on a specific waistband, but were instead mounted to twill tape in order to reduce bulk at the waist so that there was no illusion of a larger waist than was absolutely possible because skirts were worn with a waistcoat typically anyway. Then once you have all of your pieces, I'd recommend giving them a little bit of a run through with an iron so that they don't try and wiggle around all over the place. The lowest setting will work, as with any paper. And then you have a beautiful pattern for yourself. So by now, I hope you have a lovely skirt pattern to use for pretty much any period that a walking skirt was popular, with some minor alterations, whether you're using it for history bounding, historical, or just to kill time while you're in quarantine for all of your time-killing purposes. And if you'd like to show off your finished pattern, or your finished skirt, or just some other kind of crafting, join my Discord, links in the description.